Oh, the business administration degree. Oh, how I love it. It is the greatest degree of all time. And I'll tell you why. The business admin degree is so amazing because you can get any job in the world with it because it's so well-rounded. Yeah, I got a business admin degree, and I'll tell you how well-rounded it is. It's so well-rounded that you can't get a job. It's too broad. It doesn't really help you. There, I've ruined the entire episode. So what happens when we go into a college and we're trying to decide on what kind of college degree to get, and somebody says, oh, you should get a business admin degree. And in that business admin degree, you can work at any business. It teaches you about business. It teaches you all these wonderful things. You can literally do anything. Anytime somebody is telling you that something is so valuable that it applies to about anything, you know, you should probably be questioning that. And I feel bad for all the people who get a business admin degree. Again, I have one, so I feel bad for myself. But I feel bad for anybody who got it because I felt like if I can cast a wide net, then the job that I could capture in my net, there were more options. I could get more fish. The problem they don't tell you is as you make the net bigger, so too are the holes in the net. And so it's very difficult. I know. We don't catch big fish, whatever. I know the analogy is kind of poor, but the idea is that it doesn't really help you catch anything. It doesn't help. The business admin degree is one of the most worthless degrees, but most commonly picked up degrees that we have in America. And I generally stay away from the business admin degree to have the discussion about it because it irritates me so much. But I saw this posting on Reddit and it really just kind of evoked those emotions. So let's talk about it for a few moments. This person, Clerk Select, says, how long did it take you to land a job that pays $75K or more? Feeling somewhat defeated and discouraged after not getting selected to move on in the interview process today. So I am currently 32 years old and still struggling to find a good paying career in my degree field, which is business administration. I have redone my resume numerous times and applied for over 1,000 jobs in the last 3 years and still no luck. Recently, as of the last month though, I thought I maybe would catch a break after interviewing for an inside sales positions, which paid from $95,000 to $110,000. About 6 days after the interview, I decided to follow up and see where my application stood. Sure enough, as my gut feeling was correct, I got an email back saying I did not make the cut. I'm currently making $48,000 at a call center, and quite frankly, I am burnt out on the job as is not challenging to me or pay enough money. I've been taking a lot of feedback over the years, and while implementing it, I still can't seem to break through and can't understand why. Anyone else ever been in a similar situation? This is extremely common, and this person is 32 years old. And it's very frustrating to be somebody who's in a situation to where you can't find a job. You can't do it. No matter what you do, the job that you have doesn't pay very much. And compared to other people, you're struggling. Now, I'm actually, just as a side note, quite impressed that they make $48,000 a year on a call center. Because quite frankly, I've been in call centers and, I made like $20,000 a year. So $48,000 in a call center, that's amazing. But moving on from that, whenever you pick a degree, you need to make sure that there's a job, a specific job that you could get with that college degree. And so let's play this little game. What are the most important jobs? What are the most valued jobs? What are the career paths that people can take where they do well? So if you go into medicine, you get a medical degree of some sort, right? If you want to be an accountant, you get an accounting degree. If you want to be a psychologist, you get a psychology degree. If, you want to be in computer science of some sort, you get a computer science degree. And we can keep going on like this. And it would be really boring. It probably already is. But as you move and you're thinking about all these different jobs, if you want to be a lawyer, you get a law degree. And suddenly you're like, okay, well, these are all the higher paying jobs. These are all the highest paying jobs you can get with some sort of education. And so what does that leave you with? That leaves you with insurance jobs. Okay, just to cut a long story short, it leaves you with all the leftovers. And so if you can imagine, if you have a plate of brownies and you like all the edge pieces, and you say, okay, I am entitled to a piece of brownie because I have a degree. And someone says, yeah, but I've got an accounting degree, so I'm entitled to this edge piece. And the lawyer gets another edge piece. Somebody else gets, and suddenly all the edge pieces are gone. Meaning all the higher paying jobs are all gone because they are with some other degree. Business administration may as well be called, I have some freaking education. Because that's all it really is. It's super boring. It's super bland. Now, there is an application to the business admin degree. There really is. If you want to be, I don't know, a manager in retail, if you want to have a nice job in anything insurance, or maybe you want to be in some sort of business and you want to work some sort of business function. But just understand, the business admin degree, just to add extra insult to injury, you would think it's for business, which it is. But you would think it would apply for everything business, but it doesn't, because the accountants get the accounting degree people get the accounting jobs. The advertising and marketing degree people get advertising and marketing. The HR people get HR. And so quickly we're pecking away at all of the possible responsibilities that you could have in business, all the key positions, the key responsibilities, the key positions, the key jobs. And suddenly you realize that whatever's left over is what the business administrator gets. See, if you don't pick a specific area, a specialty, an area that you are specifically good at, you get whatever's left. And that's what the business admin degree is. It's just, we'll just take whatever's left. How does that sound? Sounds like a $48,000 a year person to me. It really does. I know I had a business. I got my business admin degree. My first job was as a purchasing manager. Again, I didn't have a purchaser degree. I don't know if that exists, but it was the first job that I got. Now, it didn't work out so well. I mean, it wasn't the right type of job for me. But that was the type of work I got. But I was still making $40,000 a year, right? It's not like I was like lined up to make $100,000 a year as a purchasing manager. Now, maybe in the future I could have, but at that time, no. And then it kind of goes into the sales part where they say, oh, they almost had an inside sales job. Understand something. That regardless of what degree you have, your ability to communicate determines the success that you're going to have. So, for example, if you're super nerdy, you have like a 5,000 IQ, and you work at a place but you can't communicate, you're always going to be doing the most technical work, and you're never going to really move up or move into anything because you're just going to be a monkey, right? That's all they really look at you as, somebody whose job it is to just do the work, the monkey work. But when you have communication skills, then you could be a manager. Then you could be a leader. Then you could be in sales. Then you can sprout your wings and move into things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. And so if you have a business admin degree, you at that point, your pay, your compensation is going to correlate based off of your communication skills. If your communication skills are really good, then you'll flourish and you'll have a $75,000 a year job. But you know what? You would have had it already without a college degree. And that's the funny part. And that's the funny part. That's the reality. Because you know what? The reality is, is that each individual person's success is based off of communication skills. Now, you can learn skills, you can learn technical skills that help you land a job, and they can help build your career. But having the communication skills, if you don't have any specific technical skills, is the difference between making a lot of money and not. And so when this person says, oh, I was trying to get an inside sales job, they're not going to hire you for an inside sales job. They just took one look. They experienced your communication skills for just a moment. It just takes 10 seconds. As soon as you walk into the room and your posture is wrong and you open your mouth and you say, you're uninspiring as soon as you're talking. Yeah. It only takes 10 seconds to find out whether you have good enough communication skills to be in sales or not. Now, if they were polite, they would have said, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. And they would have let you go. But they didn't. Because we have a real problem in our country where we have people who actually think and actually believe in equal outcomes. Now, in our country, we all have the same opportunity to grow our careers and to be the person that we want to be. You may not believe it, but we all have the same opportunity. Now, we don't all start at the same place, and we all have to play the hand that we're dealt. Because regardless of whether you grow up in the South, in the North, the East, the West, the Midwest, whether you're rich or poor, your skin color is different, your gender is different, your height is different. There's so many variables that go into whether you're going to be successful or not. And sadly, when it comes down to it, the thing that we don't want to hear, and I'm going to tell you, the thing we don't want to hear, truly, the one thing, man, I'm milking this. The one thing that pisses people off, they don't want to hear it, that determines success, are your genetics. See, your genetics provide the code for what kind of person you're going to be. It's already established what your height potential is, what your gender is going to be, what your skin color is going to be, whether you have a high intellect or not. You know, a lot of these things are determined by your genetics. Now, what happens outside of genetics, like growing up without a father, growing up without a mother, growing up in a dystopian society, all these things have an impact on your life. But your genetics determine how you adapt and how you react to your environment. And so if you have the genetics for a lot of charisma, you have a high charisma, you're very relatable, you're very approachable. People like you when they talk to you. People want to help you when you talk to them and when you ask questions. If you have a high score in that area, that's genetics. I'm sorry, I know we can all improve it in some way, shape, or form. We could do things to make it better, but sometimes there's just nothing we can do about it. And it may sound like a lame explanation, but guess what? This is what we have to deal with. Now, we have all these people out there who are claiming, you're just being biased. You're, these are social constructs. These are all these things that prevent people from succeeding. But the reality is, it's about us. Our own ability determines whether we succeed or not. And we don't like to hear that. This person, just by reading this post, I could tell you, they're kind of average in their charisma department. And it certainly doesn't help when they write like this. I see multiple periods ending a sentence. I see sentence structures that are not quite right, things that don't quite make sense. I can tell you. Their communication skills, probably average, maybe a little bit below average, which isn't uncommon. So the reality is that we lie to ourselves. Nobody wants the inconvenient truth of saying, well, my genetics determine my future. My genetics determine whether I'm going to be successful or not. Nobody wants to hear that because they can't control it. They want to hear things that make them feel better. Like, I didn't get that opportunity because I'm short. I didn't get that opportunity because my hair was the wrong color. I'm too old. I'm too fat. People don't like to hear that it's just their genetics. Now, does that mean we need to stop trying? Do we need to stop? Just quit? Don't even try? Absolutely not. We always need to be pursuing to ourselves and pushing ourselves to the greatest level that we can. Because if not for our generation, then for the next. See, if you don't like your genetics, there's nothing you can do about it. Now, maybe someday there will be a way. Someday, I'm sure, we'll all be spliced humans. We'll all be genetically altered. Someday, I'm sure. But maybe you don't like yourself, your own genetics. Then maybe you say, maybe the next generation, maybe my children can have a better life. Maybe I marry somebody and have kids with somebody who's smarter than me, maybe taller than me, maybe skinnier than me. And I know that's easier said than done. But maybe we think ahead a little bit and say, okay, well, maybe my life's not as important as I thought it was. But maybe I focus my attention not on me, but on setting up my children so they could have the great life that I didn't have. And then eventually, someday you'll see your kids, they'll all be taller than you. Your kids will be smarter than you. They'll be more successful. They'll have higher charisma than you. And you'll say, I did all right. I did all right. I did all right. My genetics, I may have felt a little inferior, but my genetics succeeded because my genetics is in the next generation. I'm SP Graham. This is Jobferno. If you have any questions, send me an email at questions@jobferno.com. And as always, choose skills over money.